Hi everyone, Radhe Radhe. In this video, we're going to be talking about the power of consistency in or grace, giving grace in relationships with people, because most people are going to get triggered by. I mean, pretty much everybody is going to get triggered by somebody for some reason or the other, right? At some point or the other. That's just very normal, very natural, and that's how life works. Um, if we can hold in our hearts that we can hold steady that that person is absolutely trying their best, if we can understand that, then we can set boundaries in such a way that we protect ourselves while at the same time holding this absolute trust and faith that the person is trying their best. Okay, so now the whole game, the whole name of the game is to set boundaries in such a way that we protect ourselves. Most of the problems happen because we're not setting boundaries, and then we're resentful that the person is asking for too much or taking too much from us while we are actually the ones giving too much. So when whatever we give, we should give from a place of total, like it's okay, like I want to give and that's it. Like there should not be any hesitation in the giving, because if there is any hesitation in the giving, that means that's a recipe for disaster, because going to create resentment afterwards. So you should only give when you are absolutely clear that if you get nothing back from the person, you are okay with that. That's setting boundaries for yourself. So let's say the person says something that is a little bit hurtful, or I mean, you just don't even believe that the person could say something like that. It feels impossible that the person, if a person cares about you, they would say something like that. Even in those situations, right, it is still absolutely crucial to understand that that person is still trying their best. That is where their current level of consciousness is, and that's okay, right? We have our current level of consciousness lower than them in other areas. In this particular area, maybe we're higher than them, but in other areas, we absolutely have our levels lower than them, and they're absolutely better than us. So if we hold that steady, that they want to be good people at the end of the day, that they want to be good people, and we set boundaries. So in the sense that if they what they're saying is hurting us, we still treat them with utmost respect. It's just that we don't share as much of our lives with them as possible. Maybe we withdraw a little bit in terms of how much we talk to them about our lives, or we withdraw in terms of how much we give to them, or whatever it is that makes us feel completely resentfulness free completely. Like we just become clear, and we become easygoing, and we if we're doing something, if we're helping something, we're helping because it's just natural to us, and because we want to help, and because it makes us feel good to help, not because we expect something from that person. So when we can set those boundaries, then, and if we are lucky enough that we are continuing to be in the same situation, same room as them, and same, like we're continuing to build a relationship with them, because many times that doesn't happen. Many times things just fizzle out, and I mean, nowadays in this world, it's difficult to find places. Like, for me, the temple is a place where I keep going every weekend, so I'm meeting people every week, and if there are triggers and things that happen, we work through them because we're meeting every week. We're not disappearing. And I have another group that I go to as well, which is similar. We're meeting every weekend, so that's great, because that's where real relationships get built, because our society has become so isolated. It's difficult to get into a place where you actually, because when you have triggers, you just disappear from each other's lives. Like that's there's very little in-person regularity nowadays. You really have to go out and find that in-person regular communication with a group. So yeah, I would recommend that you do that, just so that you start to build these kinds of skills, and you start to build these kinds of relationships where you learn how to set boundaries, where you do get triggered, and then you learn how to set boundaries, and you learn how to protect yourself and keep yourself safe. And you then manage to work through them, and then over the years you will see, over sometimes weeks and months or whatever, but many times even over the years, you will see that that person is starting to understand you. But you have to give yourself that gift, and of course it depends on the other person, but give yourself the gift of continuing to be in contact with the person, putting yourself in groups and situations where you're in regular contact with people, with other people. And so yeah, in that case, then many times years later, you're going to be able to come up with a deeper relationship where the person starts to understand what triggers you, and you do have to communicate as well. You absolutely have to communicate very gently, maybe once or twice only, not like not many times, not over and over again by any means, but you do have to communicate. This is what I felt, because otherwise the person doesn't know. Otherwise years can and decades can go by and people don't know how the other person is feeling. And if people don't know how the other person is feeling, there is no way that you can resolve that or work through that. So yes, communicate vulnerably and responsibly that this is how I'm feeling. But then you will see that over the years, what I'm trying to say, the point of this video is to say that many times you will see that over the years, um, you will start to come up with a really good equilibrium with people, and they will start to understand you, and then you will start to actually see the divinity in them. You will start to see just how good people are, and you will start to see that all of those things that you're like, oh, I can't even, I mean, in the beginning you might have this, like, it's not possible that a human being cares about me if they're saying things like this or if they're doing things like this. It's just not possible. You feel like that, but then afterwards you start to realize, like maybe years later even, that that person is absolutely divine, and the amount of love that they have in their heart for humanity is just there's no words to describe, like that kind of thing. That kind of transformation can happen, and that kind of shift can happen. So give people a chance is what I'm saying. Give people a chance, and protect yourself by setting boundaries, and trust trust that somewhere they want to be good people, and that this will happen. This will work out. This will be amazing. Okay. I don't know if I managed to be very clear in this video. I wasn't giving real genuine example, like not genuine. I wasn't giving specific examples, so that's why I'm feeling like maybe it wasn't as clear. But hopefully it was clear. Hopefully it was helpful. Okay. Wish you a day filled with personal spiritual growth. Radhe Radhe.